Oh, what's up, everybody? We're gonna do
What's good?
the new intro. You guys gonna update us on the US art. So go ahead.
Let's do it, boy. So the newest update is that Vanessa over at the pet shop has taken over as one of the directors, administrative director. I couldn't read that word. So shout out to her. She's put in a lot of work and a lot of effort into US Arc and has really become the face of this thing. If you guys are at an expo and you're out of state, go say what's up to Vanessa at the US Arc booths. If you're local to Arizona, go say what's up at the pet shop. Make sure to pop her a thank you for all that she's done. She works her ass off, and that's no understatement. The most recent updates are still the same alerts, the one out of Washington, the one out of Connecticut, and the one out of New Mexico. The Connecticut's a mammal bill. The one out of Washington is entertainment and amusement bans. And the one out of New Mexico is traveling performance. And it sounds like it's going to be transport. Breaking that one down. I looked into that one a little bit more. That one seems just as serious as Washington. So let's give them a shout out. Let's help them out, help them in their fight. Let's help Connecticut. Whether it's mammal, reptile, it doesn't matter. We all stand together with these animals. I saw them in the chat. What is up, CMB? Shout out to Bill. Me and him have partnered up on this project for the G-Stripe project and the Super Dwarfs. I am in possession of these animals. They are moving into quarantine, so updates will be coming as the project is rolling along. Me and Chris will update you guys on the podcast before every drop, what's going on with them, and then watch Sexin and Flexin Live's YouTube and my YouTube. I will be doing as many videos as possible. I am super excited about this. Bill blessing me with this opportunity to take over this project has been incredible. I spent I don't know how many hours over there just sitting down talking to this man. But shout out CMB in general right now, Caleb and Bill and Dana and everybody over there. Just kicking ass, man. It's such an incredible shop to be in. Their selective captive bred program is incredible. They're kind of, not even kind of, they are trailblazing the pet shop industry right now. They're kicking indoors and making a name for themselves. So shout out to them. If you're in Arizona, make sure to pop in. If you're not in Arizona, jump on their Instagram, tell them what's up, hit them with a follow. And shout out to Reptile Crew, constantly producing the sickest merch in the game right now. These are boys too. So, Chris, let's do this thing, man.
All right, let's go. Y'all sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Thanks for tapping in. Sexin and Flexin on YouTube. Go give them a follow right now. Go subscribe to their YouTube channel. I had an amazing podcast with them. It was an awesome time. Don't sleep on those guys, please.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sexin and Flexin Live Saturday.
What's good? What's good? So Tiki's Geckos was not able to make it, unfortunately. So hopefully we'll be able to reschedule something in the future.
Yeah, hopefully. But I'm going to introduce Bree from sinfulscales, Baby Jesse from Reptile World. Jesse from Baby Jesse's Reptile World. Sorry. Just get that right, because I be calling him Baby Jesse all the time.
It's all right. It happens to the best of us.
So what's up, guys? What's up? What's happening? What is happening?
I'm getting that.
What's going on with you, Jess? What, Bree?
I'm getting that boa tomorrow.
Which one?
I'm doing a trade for it. It's like a weird trade because they want my leopard gecko, but she's full grown. She's ready to go. I just got to make sure that she's like good. But he doesn't know exactly what she is, but she doesn't look like a normal. So I want to see if I can get some good pictures of her and see if I can try and figure it out.
And you, Jess? What's going on with you?
Not much. Just going through some of the inventory that we have here. A lot of adoptions that need to go out. As a matter of fact, we're working with Patrick over there at Graceful and helping out one of the his youth groups. One of the kids keeps on going to him and say, "Hey, like, I need a bearded dragon. I want a bearded dragon." So he's like, "I got the setup. I did my research, and now I want one." So I was like, "Hey, man, any way I can help, let me know." So we're working on something to get that guy started on his bearded dragon journey.
That's what's up. You said Patrick over at Graceful Serpents? Oh, that's a homie. Shout out, Patrick.
Yep.
What, he's getting a bearded dragon from you?
One of his kids at his youth group was asking him for one, and he really doesn't have a lot of bearded dragons in his, his at his shop. So that's why I'm like, "Oh, how can I help you out?" So that's what we're doing.
Nice. That's awesome of you, man. Congratulations. That's your that's going to be your first one, right? Like your first educational thing?
So I'm doing one. I'm going to be doing one February 18th at Whittier Narrows Nature Community or Nature Center. It's been there for years, since I was a young pup. So we're doing an event where we're going to show off small little geckos to the sulcata tortoises that we have here. The biggest one we have right now is like 75 pounds. So we're going to have that. Everybody's going to take a look at it, and everything in between. The theme is creatures great and small. So it's a free event. If you're in SoCal, anywhere near South Almani, you got to drop by. We'll be there. I think my boy Gio is going to help me out with setup, and then also Jess from Protecting on Love.
Right.
Hell yeah, look at all the California people coming together. It's awesome. You got a lot of Cali folks in the chat right now, too.
Bro,
Shout out to SoCal, baby.
I was like, there's a lot of people in the chat right now. We got Caleb from Military Mars. We got Jay Hill. What is that? Kaniki?
What?
I don't know how to say that last name. Kanika?
Oh, yeah. Your guess is as good as mine, bro.
Genetics Nerd, Mitzi, Slithering Serpent, River Rat Reptiles, Pennywise, Bosa, the Ambassador, Palgi, Serpent. What's up, guys? What's up, everybody? Thank you for jumping on.
Best in the West, baby. Right here. I just saw that.
Hey, just thank you for that extra advice earlier when I text you for that person buying the
Oh yeah, man, for sure.
beardy set.
Yeah, it's important for, just asking the right question. That's the cool thing about this, right? It's like being able to get that opportunity to not just get remember, like, reptile keeping is not like, there's not like a solid form of doing things. There's different ways to approach it and still having that reptile being healthy. So absolutely, starting off with a bearded dragon, especially a baby, you got to get it right. So at least the most important things, right? We're talking about lighting, we're talking about heat, we're talking about substrate. You can play with those things, but for sure, all those nutrients that come along with it. So
Respect.
always
So,
helpful.
speaking of that, Jess, what you run a rescue over there. For anyone that doesn't know, Jess runs a rescue, a very successful one at that, and does a very good job with it. How many animals do you see that suffer from poor husbandry? Because people walk that line. It's either they're below it, they're right on it, or they're above it.
Normally what I get, if we're going to break it down by species, if we're talking about turtles and tortoises, it's 100%. The biggest issue is lighting. UVB is important for reptiles, and when for those reptiles that require to be out, those are not nocturnal, need that, right? They need that sunlight. And now, if you got the blessings of Florida, 9 times out of 10, your reptile's going to be thriving outside. But at least here in Cali, our heat's too hot for some reptiles, and then sometimes the humidity's not there. So we have to get it as close as possible to your natural habitat as you can. So one of the biggest things is UVB, right? UVB cures a lot of issues with their bones and the way their jaw forms. You'll be surprised at how many times I get a simple red-eared slider who's got a flipped shell that's just kind of turning into a hat, basically, because of improper lighting. Not to mention the size of their tank and whatnot, but majority of the time it's metabolic bone disease for sure, and improper breeding. And when I say improper breeding, I'm talking about neurological issues and or breeding practices. So when I think about breeding practices, I'm talking about like having 20 dragons in a 10-gallon tank. When we're talking about having 2 males together in one tank, that's usually what I run into. And it's sad because, some of these animals that people buy, and they buy them at those expos, right? They buy them at the shows. And these guys are high quality animals. Like we're talking about, my rarest one was, it was an actual red monster lineage because he knew where he got it from, and he knew how he got it. Right off the bat, they wanted to blame the breeder, but it was him. He didn't have lighting. All he had was a hot lamp, right? He had the calcium sand because PetSmart said buy it. Just those kind of things. And so we're talking about some nice quality animals that usually come to rescue with horrible conditions.
Okay, now let's go back to that red dragon, right? Let's talk a little bit about the breeder and the buyer, right? So the buyer, seller, however people want to spin it. Do you really think it was on him though? Do you know that he wasn't given the proper advice? I know it's an expensive animal, but you don't think it was a quick flip? Like, oh, this dude really wants to buy this really expensive animal. Just let me get rid of it and send him on his way.
I can't say it was a breeder per se because I wasn't there for the interaction, right? But I've had countless conversations with many breeders, just not necessarily like, oh, you should do this. Like that's not my place, right? My place is to educate as much as possible for those who don't know. And if you know, shame on you if you're making those decisions or doing those types of transactions. But majority of the breeders that I've dealt with are very knowledgeable when it comes down to it. As a matter of fact, shout out to Corona Beardies out in Corona, California. She's actually moving to Rio Verde. So I believe that's in Arizona. So anywho, she actually, when she sells one of her dragons, she prints out a care sheet of how she takes care of her animals, what she feeds them, how she feeds them, supplements, tank size, genetic information if needed. I mean, you're talking about like the do's and don'ts of how to care for one. If you don't know what you're doing and you're reading that and you still don't like make that decision to like go do those things, then shame on you. And that's the kind of things that we need to think about, right? As far as like when we're having those types of transactions with our sellers and our buyers, is like how much effort are we putting into that information line? Because when you're looking at a show, how many of them have a stack of paperwork ready for you to be able to say, hey, here's a care guide. For those of you who are doing it out there, shout out. Like, that's what we need out there. That's what's going to help that reptile have a fighting chance. But when I'm talking about like that interaction from that red monster to that customer, it is, again, if you're going to spend that much amount of money on that type of animal, there should be something like that. There should be some sort of conversation. And again, not to say that all breeders do, but there are some breeders that just will make that quick sell and benefit, right, and profit off that customer. So it's important, right? It's important to be able to say like, hey, I'm going to give you a really high-end animal, and I don't need you to come back trying to get that money back. So it's in your best interest, even as a businessman, is that you dot your I's and cross your T's.
Respect. So let's go back because I didn't want to interrupt you real quick. Let's touch on something that doesn't get talked about enough. I feel like. Again, we're gonna shout out Vanessa real quick and damn it, dude, I'm gonna mispronounce it, but they volunteer with the turtle rescue every year here in Arizona. They stop by and do a huge thing. It's like a 3-day event. It's absolutely incredible. But let's talk about red ear slider care real quick. You down?
Yeah, of course.
Let's talk about the enclosure. Let's start there because I feel like from an outside looking in, someone that doesn't keep them, but I know enough not to keep them because I don't feel like I can meet the care adequately. What I was told originally getting into it, I wanted one just for the kids to, be like, oh, look, a turtle, cool, whatever. I was told a 40-gallon tank is sufficient for an adult. How wrong am I?
You're completely wrong, sir.
All right, now let's backtrack. School us. Let's go.
Red-eared sliders, I don't know how else I can put it. As a young pup, you're going to the swap meet and you come across a booth and somebody's selling pet stuff, and then there you are in the not even a 5-gallon, maybe like a 1 gallon, if that, enclosure with a little palm tree, little turtle, and a couple of beads of pebbles in there for like $5. Mom, Dad, I want that, right? I would strongly, if you can't say yes to this question, don't get one. Do you have a pond to put this thing in?
Okay, so why a pond?
Yeah. It's gonna thrive. That's where it's gonna thrive the most. And it's gonna grow. Exactly. What's really important to understand about red-eared sliders is they're super hardy. Like in any condition, these things will survive. It's very, very hard to put them in a position where they're going to pass away. And I hate to, I'm going to say that blanket, like a blanket general statement, right? There are things that will cause it to die faster. But what I'm saying is that these things are hardy. And when I mean hardy, they can live in any condition. The problem is that you'll end up having, and if you're not paying attention to these things, you're going to pay attention to shell rot. You're going to pay attention to, you're talking about the shell and its, how it forms as it grows. When you look at a red-eared slider in its natural habitat, that shell is super smooth, super beautiful, right? Colors vibrant, no shell rot, and there's a lot of terms when it comes down to these aquatic turtles because red-eared sliders are very easy to come by. But when I go back to saying, oh, how do I raise one? Well, I have to throw that out first before we even start talking about it. If you can't keep it in a huge enclosure, I'm talking about a pond. Like I'm talking about like even a mini pond would be the minimal when it gets to adulthood. I mean, I'm seeing these things that are as big as a watermelon, because they allowed it to thrive that way. And so, what else do you want to know? I don't want to discourage anybody. Discourage anybody. It's just, it's one of those things that if you're truly invested in that species of turtle, you got to go hard. You go hard for a bearded dragon. You go hard for a chameleon. You got to go hard for a red-eared slider.
Respect. See, I feel like they get neglected, man. I just don't. I feel like, out of all the animals that we talk about, they do. I'm super pumped that the fact that you brought them up because they do take the backseat to a lot of the other popular animals. And, I walk into any pet shop in Arizona and everybody's got a red ear slider up for sale, bro. And it's cheap. It's dirt cheap. You know what I mean? Like I've seen them as low as $5, like you were saying at the swap meet, but I've seen that at the shops too because they can't move them. Because well, I guess now now the truth is starting to come out about the care. Let's kick a door in for controversy real quick, right? Should this be an animal that is discouraged from being bought, though? I mean, there's enough of them already in captivity. They're not endangered. They're invasive in many, many states. And the care is it's always subpar, because the misconceptions out there, oh, this thing as an adult will fit in a 40-gallon tank, and it's so popular and got enough power. Maybe it's time that we just go, I'm totally against owning sulcatas at this point. I see enough of this in a shit situation. Like, I advise against it.
And you go and you got to, it's exactly my point. I was going to bring up the sulcata because everyone has one, right? Everyone's got, because it's this tiny when you buy it. It's this tiny. But then they grow to being this big. Like, and don't get me wrong. Again, if you do your business how you do your business, but understand where they end up. In
Rusky. Yep.
They end up here. Because the problem is they don't know that. They don't know that, they can't lay a clutch of like 30 to 40 eggs at a time, right? And just like the red-eared slider, they're just one of those animals that are very hardy. They're super hardy animals.
For sure.
Like, shout out to my boy at Sunfire, right? He's a neighboring, rescue here. And we are always talking about this. I even told him the other day, I'm like, yo, I got a soft shell that somebody just dropped on my lap. Thank you for that person who dropped it off for, really taking the time to know, like, hey, this is now out of my comfort zone and my care, and it's growing to a point where I can't keep it anymore. But man, like, they are literally if you pull up OfferUp, you download the OfferUp app and type in red ear slider, it's gonna pop up and it's gonna pop up free. That's what's crazy about it, is that people are willing to give these away in the truckload, because you can find them anywhere and everywhere. Now, if you're breeding them as a breeder, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. It's not okay. I mean, unless you're selling them to, high end, reptile keepers who have like a lake that they're wanting turtles in, to thrive and to do well. It's a very slippery slope, He's got a pond that he's building, and he's very careful what he puts in there, because he's like, the ratio of, females versus males, like, I don't know, because it can get out of hand really quick. So yeah, shout out to Sunfire over there in Orange County.
Respect, much respect. Yeah, that's a conversation that I think it's needed to be had for a long time. Glad we got it. Glad we were the ones that got to it. And shout out to anybody else having that conversation. So Jess, let's talk a little bit more on the animals that you see most oftenly, right? So we got red ear sliders, sulcatas. What else do you see down there?
Here in Cali, what I'm normally seeing now in abundance of is bearded dragons. Bearded dragons are popping up in the rescues a lot. And it's interesting because you rarely get babies. You get them rare. You're not going to get a baby bearded dragon normally and if you do, it's just done. It's completely gone. At that point, we're counting the days, right? But majority of the time, we're getting 3-year-old, 4-year-old bearded dragons into the rescue, and it's the common statement, right? The common statement is, I don't have time for it anymore. I got a job, or I'm going back to school. And or what, work just got so busy and I don't want to, just leave it to die. But it starts to get a little interesting when you start to hear that every single time somebody says, can you take my dragon in? And I think that's interesting because they do require space. They're not one. I mean, you could get away with your 40-gallon breeder tank or whatever. But again, to have a dragon thrive well, you got to bring it to its best and optimal levels of care. We are starting to get into that point where I can't take anymore. It gets to that point, right? It gets to that point where you can't even take any more in because of the amount I'm getting. And then the amount of food they eat. I mean, babies need to be fed 2 to 3 times a day, veggies and bugs, And so it does hurt the pocket once in a while, right? When we don't get the donations in or we don't get that help. But it definitely is something that I don't know. I mean, it's just I love them. They're one of my favorites, right? Right next to the iguana. But it's just that, man. I think it's a lot of it. It's easy to breed, right? It's not hard. And again, just like a Salcata, they can produce to like successfully probably like 25 to 30 eggs in a clutch. And you could breed them maybe 3 or 4 times a year. So yeah. Bearded dragons are the ones that are normally in the rescue. But luckily my son is super, super happy with them. He gets to hang out with them, feed them, and we learn a lot of things when we're taking care of them, different types of diseases they would carry or issues they may have. Why bearded dragon doesn't have a foot, so there's a lot of conversation that me and my son could have just based off some of the rescues that we have.
Respect. Now, one thing you didn't touch on, and this is going to be my segue into Bree. What kind of geckos do you keep, Bree?
Well, I keep cresteds. I have one leopard gecko after tomorrow, and I have gargoyle geckos.
Respect.
Yeah.
So teach us about them. Tell us some stuff. I'm not a gecko person in the slightest. I know they look cool and they're kind of badass, and I own 2, but I know how to care for them.
Well, for me, I used to have a bunch of more leopard geckos, but I did find homes for them, all except for my very first. But I will not breed them. I used to rescue, and I have mad respect for the people who do rescue and do properly. I'm not doing that shit anymore. Because the amount of times that I had been told by people like the same, like, oh, I'm going back to school and my animal's half dead, but can you give me $100 for it if you're going to take it? I'm like,
Hell no.
Like I had literally had, and I've had animals come to me, and as soon as I saw them, we had to rush to the vet to get them IVs, medication, get them on so that we could just take them home and they would be safe through the night. And I couldn't take it anymore. Like I wasn't even getting healthy. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm in Jersey, but I would never get any healthy animals. It was always like, oh, I didn't realize that I wasn't taking care of it properly. And the one that I got was severely dehydrated. Her whole bottom was scorched. She was super, super skinny. And I was like, I can't take it anymore. Because it's like, you want to save these animals and everything like that, but then you want to strangle the person that did it to them. And I was like, I can't, my temper is not, I was like, I can't do this anymore. So the people that do it long term, and I did it for 2 years, and I couldn't handle it. And even now, I try and be as careful as I can and give out little care cards. I don't have one on me, but you can go on this website, and if anybody ever needs them, because they have ones for all different species, I'll send you the website. You pay shipping, and they'll give you the cards. From when I got them, maybe you pay a couple dollars now, I don't know, but it's a couple bucks. Get the care cards, put them in with everything. At expos, hand them out, because even if it's just a little card, at least you're doing something. Because I've had people pick up those cards and be like, oh, I didn't know that the minimum size for a crested is to 20 gallon. Why are you looking at this stuff then? You don't know that? Come on. You didn't ask until I gave you a card? Stuff like that is don't. Oh my God. It drives me nuts.
Real quick, can you send that link? Can you send that link to Bozo real quick so we can post it?
I gotta find one of the cards. But yeah, if you want, I can run and grab one of the cards, and then I'll I'll show you. Hold on one sec.
She's like, hold on, what is that?
Oops, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt the show, but
Well, no, but I think about what she's saying though. Like, think about it. Like, that's how important it should be. Like, I'm sorry, Levi. Sorry, Chris. I got to get this information out quick, so that Boza could throw it on there. Like, that's the kind of reaction we all should have. Like, I know we got a lot of things going on in our worlds, but like, it's as simple as here's the link, here's the card, here's the.
Jess, I got a question for you. I know you've been seeing the pictures because I've been seeing the pictures of the MBD dragons on Instagram. Man, like, how do you, like, what can we do to just push positivity about that? Like, get information out there on that.
It's a slippery slope too, man. Like, you think about it, when you have those dragons who are still alive, right? They're still with MBD. They'll live. I mean, I'm not a reptile, so I don't know what pain they're in. I think about it like, if they are, if they're not, regardless, we got to backtrack on what that was.
Hold on, Jeff.
Oh, that's dope.
So
there it is.
And look.
Oh, like, nice.
That's a decent amount of information on a little card. Where's the website? Oh, creaturecarecards.com. They have a bunch of them. So
I know Bosa will find that. creaturecarecards.com. And they're on Instagram, Bosa.
Yeah, and I mean, they try, and they really, really try and keep as updated as they can on all of the animals that they have on there. And I love these. I put them in with everything I ship out. I always have them out at expos just for people to pick up. And yeah, I mean, it even says like when they're most active, moderate humidity, access to water bowls, mist, like different heat ranges that they're allowed to be, like they're okay to be in, all that type of stuff. And like that, this is not hard to have. Like, I understand the people who are going to be like, oh, well, I don't want to print out a bunch of full pages of care sheets and everything like that. Like, okay, but at least do this, because I get the expense. Like, ink is not cheap. I get it. Paper is not even cheap anymore. But this, come on, like $15 maybe, like for a whole, I think I got like 1,000 of them. That's nothing.
That's not bad at all. That's not. That's totally worth the investment as a breeder.
Yeah.
And if you even go the route of like, you get the template, right? You can get somebody who does those, business cards for free. Like, hey, I'll give you 1,000, business cards, right? And then it's like $20. They got 1,000 these care sheets. You just pop them all out to that, those people. Yeah, I think Aloha, she's starting to do business cards. So if y'all looking for business cards, Aloha does them.
Yeah. Real quick, anybody tuning into the chat or tuning into the live in the last 5 minutes here or so, the link posted is to a business card that has the care of many animals. Click on that link. If you need them, buy them. As a breeder, it's going to be essential. Handing out a business card is a lot easier and more efficient than handing out a flyer. So check it out. Shout out to Sinful Scales for bringing this up.
Like, all the information there that this is just on cresteds. They have so many other species on there. They try and keep as updated as they can on all of their information. And they send these out. It's not like they don't give you a template and then you have to go to a different company and get it all printed. Like, they'll do that all for you.
That's cool.
Yeah, like, you just pick the species and pay for whatever. I mean, I think it is. It's like $15-$20 for like 1,000 of them. Like, it's a.
I was gonna say, I'm like, how updated did they get? I'm like, but you just answered that question. That's cool.
Yeah, like they do pretty good
Pretty
job.
cool.
But
Even these, like I bought them last year, but still nothing's changed.
So real quick, they got leopard gecko, crested gecko, Chahoya gecko, gargoyle gecko, Leachiana's gecko, Saracen gecko. What is that? Saracen? Is it Saracen? Saracen. What is that? That sounds cool. Anyways, chameleon, tokay, morning, African fat tail, fish scale, spiny tailed, giant day, cave. So they're like every popular gecko species is on there. Snakes they got, ball python. Yeah, I'm calling out the ball python community. Y'all need to get these. Western hognose, samboa, corn snake. Hey, colubrid peoples, if you're breeding corns, y'all better get on game.
Bro, I'm just saying, like, anybody working with reptiles should have a care sheet. Like, let's say if somebody wants to come and look at your reptiles, they're like, here, read this before you come in here, you know?
Oh, real quick. So they have companion cards, too. They got new owners, insectivores, omnivore, herbivore, rodent guide, cycle your tank, brumation. Ooh, aquarium and terrarium.
They're an amazing website to have.
Hey, somebody highlight that link again. These
Which one?
are damn, Bree, way to go. That's fucking awesome.
Like I need to get way more than just these crested cards, but like they are, dude, they're amazing. That website.
Hey, Levi. So Christina says, does everyone have a plan for their collection if your animal outlives you?
That's a good question. We were talking about that, right, Bree? About a whale. You know, having a whale.
All of mine is going to Levi, first of all. Mine is going to Levi. He's younger than me, so if I'm going to die before him.
Honestly, I don't right now. Technically, okay, so I don't have a will, but don't ooh me. I have a mini plan.
That was funny. Don't ooh me.
Like I have to where, all right, so I told Richie, I was like, if I go for whatever reason before you, and I told my mom that these are the people you need to contact if you need help. These are the local ones, and these are the ones that can help you in figuring out what to do with the collection, because he is not going to keep all these. My mom won't even touch them. Like every time I have one out, she's like, if that thing jumps on me and then it looks at her, she's like, no. So she's not going to take care of them, but she'll figure out, she'll find safe homes for them. So, I mean, at least like I have that type of a plan to where like they have the resources they need in case something happens, but I don't have a will for them.
Respect. Real quick, while we're on this subject, I know, Chris, you want to be positive, but this is a dark, gloomy thing, but this also touches like we can intertwine life and reptile lessons all together in one. If you don't have a living will, thank you for bringing this up, Will, or Bree. Sorry, what the fuck? Thanks for bringing this up, Bree. If you don't have a living will, go get one.
Yeah, I don't.
Life strikes, and it strikes quickly, and unfortunate things happen to the best of the best. No matter how careful or smart you are, shit happens. To have a contingency plan, not just for the animals, but life is important to you, your loved ones, everyone around you, and including your animals. Just always have a contingency plan in place. What can go wrong will go wrong. It's a plan for it. It's a good life lesson to intertwine with these reptiles.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I've even been like teaching like Richie and my mom like price ranges for stuff, what to look for. My mom's a little better on that, surprisingly enough. But I mean, I'm actually like shocked. All right, so like when I first got my own reptile, I was 22, and I was still living with them because I had just had a baby and just had a situation with dad. And I just brought home a gecko, and my mom lost it. She thought like she was still under the impression that they had carried salmonella. Like, that's just a thing in reptiles. I was like, that's not a thing at all. And she's like, they stink. It's gonna escape. It's gonna eat something. I was like, Mom, it's a leopard gecko. It's not gonna eat a cat. Like, it's not gonna eat a dog. Like, you're good. They don't just carry diseases like that.
Real quick, sorry to hear that, Darlene. That's tough.
Oh, damn.
But no, you're right. You're right.
That's cool.
We can touch on misconceptions.
But yeah, she was like 100%. But I mean, now like she goes to the expos with me when I vend, and she helps out.
Cool.
She'll come over and like help me pick out ones that I'm letting go of, and like try and help me pick out pairings. And she's really involved. I mean, to the point to where like we were looking around for a ball python for me for my breeding projects, and she wants a colubrid, like a king snake. I was like, really? Like she was like cooing over them, saying like she wants a small snake if she would get one. I'm like, when were you thinking of getting a snake? She's like, they're just so cute. I'm like, oh, now they're reptiles are cute. A couple of years ago, it was like, it's gonna kill the household.
Hey, congratulations on the conversion, though. That's
Right?
Yeah.
hats off. That's fucking incredible.
Amazing.
Well, I think it was mostly because like she as soon as I got into reptiles as an adult, she saw a change in me, and she said like she just sat down with me the one day and she's like, I haven't seen this side of you since you were like 13.
Oh, that's nice.
Because like I've told you guys like some stuff of like how I was awful when I was younger. I was like so all over the place and like doing stuff that I didn't need to be doing, and I was awful to my parents. And she said like it brought back somebody that was gone for almost 10 years. So then she just that same day started to like heavily support everything and try and learn instead of just thinking that they're gross. And it was something that like me and her bonded very well over.
That's awesome.
So check this out.
That's
Now
hella
that you
awesome.
say that, I walked into my salon, my haircut lady. We're talking about snakes, and she's like, snakes are gross. And I go, why? She goes, because they're sticky and icky. And I go, do you think they're covered in slime or something? Like, no, they're not. I'm like, I don't know what you're reading or where you got your earphone on, but snakes are not icky and sticky. I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
Okay, hold on. Time out. You know what? That's the second one today. Let's jump in. Let's jump down a rabbit hole real quick and talk about reptile misconceptions. Actually, Jesse, that's the third one. Third big one. Because we got the red ear sliders in their care. So they carry salmonella, and they're sticky and slimy. Hold on, real quick. Can we time out though? And this is what makes this live like one of the best the best damn live on YouTube. Chris, what you mean a salon, bro? Ain't you bald?
Bro, I gotta get cleaned up. I get trimmed up.
Clean up your
Bro, who goes to a salon to get the beard trimmed?
I do. I don't like doing it. I don't like
I
trimming
was
my
trying to
beard.
hold it in so
Somebody
much.
call Chucky and tell him to post hashtag I'm so done. I am done with this man.
Oh my gosh. I mean, hey.
Oh, you got a little
He's
bit of
got
hair.
some on the sides.
I mean, you got the Homer going, you know.
Okay. I'm sorry. I saw a crack in the door about that big. I had to bust through that shit.
Oh,
like
you
a
had
Kool-Aid
to,
man.
yeah, you had
Whatever.
Kool-Aid
Whatever
man
that.
for sure.
You know what I mean.
Oh yeah. Anyways.
Oh yeah.
Reptile.
Oh man.
Reptile misconceptions. Let's tackle Chris's though, because Chris's is actually, I don't know anybody in the chat can help back this one up. But I feel like that is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, misconception about snakes. And even I'm guaranteed in lizards and geckos and all the other reptiles, you're going to get it too, that they're slimy. And unless it's like fully aquatic, like that breaks the rule, obviously. But the rest of them, they're not slimy. They're not sticky. They don't stink unless they musk, but that's a whole other story. But I feel like that is like the biggest misconception is that people think these things are like slimy.
Only if they need it, right? Only if they need it.
I think about, just looking at a snake, right? It's got a glisten. Let's be real. It looks like shining, a sheen.
Okay.
Sheen. Well, the first time I ever handled a snake, they said to me, "It feels like a basketball." I was like, "Okay." I'm like, "So why is it slimy?" That's the first thing that came in my head, and I was a kid. I was like maybe 8 or 9. So,
hold on. You need to go see a doctor, bro.
Right?
But
yeah,
in the morning, dog.
But that's what it was. And then when I did it, I was like, "Oh, it's not at all." I don't know. I think it's just that the fear of handling one. I think that's what it is. So what's the first thing? Instinct kicks in. Oh no, I don't want to touch that. It's gross.
Yeah, but it's the fact. Not only that, it's the fact too that people are just terrified of reptiles. I didn't realize how much they are until I say, I read and sell reptiles. Like I have all pythons. Like, no way, they don't bite you.
Yeah.
Like that's the first thing out of their mouths is, oh no way, they don't bite you. Like, does it hurt? Like, no, man, it doesn't hurt. Of course they're gonna bite you. They're defensive.
I mean, I've been rescuing for almost 3.5 years now, and I've never had a snake bite me. And that's considering like it coming from like a really crappy, situation.
Yeah, like I've been bit, but it wasn't my snake. So
that doesn't make it any better.
okay, but I was stupid and I was feeding, but my both hands smelled like rodents. I forgot, so I went to reach in and pull the tub out, and he tagged my finger. But that was it.
Mm.
And then 10 minutes later, I got bit by a rat. So I'd rather get bit by the snake again.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Hold on.
yeah.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Mm-hmm.
They hurt so bad.
I don't know who in the comments has been bit by a damn rat and bit by a damn snake, but I will take a retic bite over a rat bite any day.
Yeah.
That shit sucks.
They try and go like right to the bone, dude. They're no joke.
Oh, and then let alone let's talk about sanitary.
Actually,
I mean,
rodents are very clean. It's the people that don't clean up their enclosure that make them dirty. By nature, they are extremely clean animals. Like if you
I've seen a YouTube video where one was soaping itself up.
Yeah, like if you just sit and watch, if you have like feeders, if you just sit and watch, they clean themselves most of the day, and they'll try and stay in the cleaner sections of the cage, and then move over to go to the bathroom. That's why you can potty train.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Sorry,
y'all been bit by an ASF yet? Oh, it's like worse than a Norwegian.
Hell no, bro.
Man, them motherfuckers got a powerful bite. I'm sorry, that sucks.
He lost a fingernail by a hairless rat. Yeah, I don't want to.
You know what we call that? You know what we call that? We call that snake food.
I'll take 10. I'll take 10 bites from my retake before I take one from our cat or dog.
I'll take a bite from a snake before a claw from a cat. You can't tell me those things are fucking sanitary.
Bro, my cat.
I'd rather get bit by iguanas. I'd rather be bitten by an iguana than get bitten by a rat.
I'd rather get smacked by an iguana's tail.
Dude, iguanas will they'll fucking roll too. They don't care. Like, if they actually get a hold of you, they're
gonna rip your.
Yeah.
But bro, that's true though, man. Them rats, I hate rats.
I like them.
Hold
but
on. There's a
I
really
don't
good
like
comment.
the meat ones.
You don't like the mean ones, but you never know which ones mean to bite you.
Well, I do because I pay attention to them.
No, okay. So I was having a conversation with Bill's wife today. It was actually pretty cool, man. If y'all get a chance to stop into CMB and talk to Bill's wife about her rats, it's so cool, man. Watching her light up and run around like a little kid showing off her rats, it's so cute. But we were talking about the relationship that we build with our rodents. Does anybody else do that? Because we breed, a lot of us breed our own rodents. Do y'all build relationships with your rodents or no?
Yeah.
No, just food. Never breed emotions with food.
I do because I fully believe on the happier the food is, the better it is for your snakes.
Oh, he's happy he's gonna die?
No, but at least he had a good life.
So you're gonna put him happy in the box, he's like, oh, and then he's all living his life like, oh, and then bam.
The only thing I can think of for that scenario is like Wilbur from Charlotte's Web.
But I also don't just breed feeders.
God damn it, Jess.
I'm breeding pet quality rats. So it's a big difference. Like if I want them to be sold as pets because they're nice and they're very calm, then at least I can because I socialize them. They're used to being in a cage. They're not like too skittish or anything like that. Because see, even like him, like he's just chilling. He hasn't tried to bite me. I pulled him right out of the cage and woke him up doing it. And it makes it a lot easier when you have to go in there and clean and stuff like that. Because they're not running
That's
around
true.
nuts. Yeah.
Very true. And I mean,
Is okay.
I like the idea of building a relationship with your rodents because it makes life easier, and two, it sounds messed up, and it really isn't when you think about it. When you do give them the best life possible, when they're loved throughout the entire time of their life, they're enjoying, what there is of it, and and then it comes to an end.
Yeah.
Like if I was destined to be a feeder, I'd rather have a positive life than a shit life stuck in just an absolute horrible situation.
Yeah.
We all got an expiration date.
Because, I mean, even like, all right, so when I get feeders, like frozen feeders, I cannot stand being able to see how overgrown some of their the feeders' teeth are. Because they're not getting the enrichment they need. Their teeth constantly grow, so you need to put stuff in there so that they can gnaw and trim them down. Like, some people aren't doing that. And like, come on, like they're still animals. If you love animals, treat them all right. Just because they're feeders doesn't mean they don't need to be treated right.
Respect.
I do. I say sorry, buddy. I don't love you. Have a nice day.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's respect, though. I didn't just throw him in there. I said, I gave him a little goodbye. Throw him in there.
Yeah, I don't feel like we're on the same level here, though.
I don't think that's the same thing.
What? You want me to say I love you, buddy? I'm sorry.
Yeah, like pet it and like treat it
no,
nicely.
That's like me getting a bunch of crickets into this thing, shaking them up with calcium and say bye, and just tossing them into the tank.
Fuck the crickets.
I was gonna say fuck the crickets. Just sorry.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like equivalent to what Chris is saying.
Bro,
okay, yeah, okay. I got you.
A well taken care of feeder is going to be nutritious for the animal, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's kind of the same thing as what
you're right.
Maybe your snakes will bite you less if you treated your rodents better because you're just infecting them with negative.
Maybe your feeders are not joining your lives. Maybe they get soak in that positivity from you. I don't know.
What are you talking about? My snakes don't bite me. The rats, they bite me.
3 lies in the reptile community. My snakes don't bite. My snakes don't get out, and I'm done buying snakes.
That one rat.
And I'll rephrase my statement earlier. I haven't been bitten yet.
Yeah. That's exactly what I did. Look, that's exactly what I did.
That's all right. I'm not gonna lie. I throw threats to my rodents. If they're being mean, I'm like, dude, you'll be food next. Keep it up.
I'm not gonna lie, like I do that. Like when I get bit, I'm like, "Ooh, bitch, you're next."
When my wife's rabbit's being an asshole, I threaten to feed it to the retic.
Bro, I threaten my cat that I'm gonna feed it to my big ass ball python over here.
Hey, but can we give shout out to the chat, you guys? Man,
Yeah, I
there's
mean the
good
chat's
stuff in
popping off
there.
tonight.
Yeah.
Shit's sick.
Woo.
But we got Sage from Sunfire Skills. We got Heartland Reptiles, Darlene, Percy Cruising,
Get it, man.
Genetics. Levi, how dare you? I don't know what you
What?
did. Oh,
What did I do?
The bunny. That's what she says.
Fuck that rabbit.
We got Kayla Military Morse. And we got, I think,
Woo.
like almost a patron
Congratulations.
family. We got
Congratulations.
Jay, Reptile Life,
Jay.
Jay,
Abby.
Rep. There we go. Abby, shout out. Damn, the whole everybody's up in this motherfucker tonight.
that's
So-
pretty
Yeah.
good. So,
On the flip side, though, my rodents aren't the only ones that get threatened. Well, I guess a rabbit's not really a rodent. I can't remember what it's called. Christina, help me out. What's the gene on that rabbit again? Anyways,
yeah, she's gonna go for you now, bro. She's
she's gonna somehow jump on this live, like bypass your backstage, and she's gonna tear you a new one, bro.
I can feel the energy from across the country. Anyways, where was I going with that? I'll throw at my snakes too. Like after they bite me, I'll look at them like, "Hey, motherfucker, I'll turn you into a belt. Don't play with me."
But the truth is, you wouldn't know how to do that, so it's kind of not true.
The thing,
Wow, way to ruin it, Jess. Just because I don't know how to make a belt.
Just saying, man. You would never do
I'm not
that.
that brutal with the snakes, but like if they look like they're gonna strike, I'll threaten them a little bit because I have most of them are in tanks except for the quarantine, which I use the rack for. So I'll threaten them and tell them like they won't get the cushy tank. They'll be put in the rack if they don't knock it off.
I'm with the mentor on that one, though. I'm with the mentor. Rats scare me.
Yeah, scare the
What?
fuck out of me too.
Why?
They do.
They scare me. Oh my
They're
god.
fucking outside of the bite, they're harmless.
Did you
Hold
know?
on, can we go back here? Jay Hill's in the doghouse. It's okay because me and Chucky got a triple wide that we live in, and we got an empty room. So you can just move in with us, bro. It's okay.
Oh man. No, yeah, no. I'm. It's funny because I was at work, right?
Yeah, you
And
should
we have an office, and it's one of the bigger ones. And for whatever reason, there was a rat that got in. And so like one of the bosses like, hey, you deal with reptiles, right? Can you come over here real quick? I was like, yeah, sure. So I go over there, and there's a freaking rat, and I'm like, I gotta look tough, right? I'm like, no, I got this. I'm like, just go outside. I'll lock the door. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get this freaking thing, man. I was sweaty. My armpits are sweaty. Like I didn't know how to deal with it. I was like freaking out. And then one of my boys comes in and he's like, hey, what's going on? I heard there's a rat here. I'm like, yeah, can you get it? He's like, don't you deal with like snakes and stuff? I'm like, yeah, man, but I don't deal with no rats. Yeah, so well, at least they're live ones. Yeah, so he was the one that eventually caught it, but he kept on the hush hush that that I didn't get it.
That's a
That freaked
homie.
me out.
That's a real homie right there.
Oh my god, Jess.
Shout out to Andres.
Jess, check it out. So I was cleaning out the rat tub, and one of the rats got out right in my garage, and it started running around the garage, and I was like, oh, I better get this rat, because if not, my mom's going to fucking chew me out, right? So for real, dude.
Is that more fun? Why is that so funny?
Because he's like
I'm being legit.
you have.
I'm trying to picture this
A
fucking
little
buff
younger.
ass, grown ass man chasing a rat around his garage. Thinking, mom's gonna fuck
He's
me
like,
up.
oh, I'm gonna be so mad.
Oh no!
So I'm fucking I'm turning shit around, and every time I try to grab the rat with the tongs, because I won't grab him with my hands. Fuck that, dude. So I'm like trying to grab his ass. He keeps going back and forth like this, dodging me. And then I finally grab him and I pick him up and I throw him back in the tunnel. I was like, damn.
Hold
yeah,
on.
I
You guys
just need
smell
to,
that?
I just need to get that rat before
Chris, you smell that?
What?
You smell it?
What?
It smells like bitch in here. Anyways.
Bro, I am
That
terrified.
was good.
I am terrified of
Can
you.
we make a point that I got Chris to smell though? And we're all like,
You know what? Whatever, bro.
Well, it's on live, so it will never be unviewed. It will be there, forever.
Ever and ever.
fuck.
What did Hartman say that I've never ever liked to respect and fear the mama? Oh yeah. Yeah.
She brought you into this bitch, she'll take you out too.
Especially my mama.
Very, very good.
All
So I
right.
was like,
Go ahead, Chris.
no, go ahead. I was just like, well, and what am I gonna do if I don't find this rat? And honestly, I think we have another rat in there somewhere. I don't know.
Laugh when your mom sees this live and whoops your ass.
Bro, it's not, but it's not my rat. It's one of the outside rats. It's the, what do you call it? Field mice, sorry. But it's a big one, bro, because you be eating my rat food.
They're only like, they only get like that big.
Nah, this one's huge. It has like a giant tail, like this big.
What is it? Like an ASF or a Norwegian?
No, it's a field mouse.
Oh, just put out a
Yeah.
trap.
Bro, his tail was this big, bro. No lie.
His tail.
You're not talking about a possum?
Oh,
No,
I know, like,
I got it. Just let a snake out, bro. It'll be all right. It'll find it.
right?
and then
Bro,
you.
I did. Okay, so I accidentally left the top off point, and there's a snake in this house. My mom finds out, dude.
Are you
If my mom
serious?
finds out, yeah, I'm serious. It was an accident.
Well, now you. I mean, it's probably gonna go for the mouse. So where's the mouse?
I don't know. It's been gone for like a week already. So I don't know.
He's
What?
looking around like somebody's looking. It's listening. Oh my god.
Like, I'll just say,
Detroit rat?
We're gonna go back and edit this whole thing out. Anyways, moving on. Moving on.
bro, I've been trying to
Oh,
find something
man.
for
Hey,
like
hey,
ever.
if Chris disappears, we all know what happened. His mom killed him.
Yes.
And
Yikes.
I'm a lot snake richer. Actually, I'm gonna call your mom and tell her tomorrow. Anyways.
Don't do that. Don't give me
Oops.
Oh my gosh. We're gonna edit that out.
Yeah, we'll go back.
Wait, ASS are real.
What?
Yeah,
By who?
They're lying to you.
muskrat
Yeah, I
got
know they're
the like that. Muskrat. Chris is serious. Look at this.
That's funny.
And then he said, and ended up in his mom's room, put it in the door. But bro, that happened. Oh man, now you're gonna hit the end of it. I can tell you that right now.
For real. I want the live. When you get caught, there's gotta be. Hold on, Mom. Before you start yelling at me, my friends want to see you yell at me. And go.
But she will, dude. She will. I don't care how old you are. My dad used to say the same thing. I don't care how old you are. I'll still whoop your ass.
The fuck, Chris?
Sorry.
God damn it. All right, so where were we
Oh,
before we went down this rabbit hole?
just to respond back to that
We're on
comment,
brief.
that's what I heard too. If you go to Africa, African soft furs are not a thing that just run around. They're their version of lab rats, so sometimes they get loose, but they're not out in the wild like naturally.
So where the fuck are they from?
Yeah.
Nobody knows
Okay.
because that's the thing too. Is they've said like, yeah, sometimes they get loose, but they're just another form of lab rat. And in Africa, when you ask people, they're like, we don't even know where the fuck they came from.
All right, somebody needs to call Bozo
Ooh.
and tell him to stop letting the rats out of his basement.
Ooh.
Yeah, my mom good with that chancla.
All right, Jay says ASFs are from Saharan Africa and also found in Italy.
That's what I thought at first, but now I'm kind of unsure exactly as to where they started because apparently they're just like I've just been finding more information that says that they're just not something that was like native.
So they're invasive, or
Kind of. I mean,
not
they're
from.
not really doing that much damage, but
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
native snakes there. Okay, yeah.
But are not native. Okay.
So it would be really interesting to see if we can find more information on where they originally came from, other than people saying that they're just another form of a lab rat. Because then we could clear that up a lot easier.
Well, if nobody knows where they're from, then
Yeah. That could also be a thing as to why it took people so long to figure out what exactly works to breed them.
It also explains why they eat each other.
Yeah, because I mean, even with like rats and mice, they do not want to do that.
Yeah, it's like
mice
natural
are more
to them.
inclined, but yeah, they only do it if like something mentally kind of snaps on them. But that could also go into play with boredom from what they're being housed with.
so they're mutt
They're
rats.
not a species?
Okay, Christina, you go on to type a paragraph and explain this because you the damn scientist here, and this is on you at this point.
Yep.
You
I
got
put
the
this on her.
degrees. You are elected lead official
So
on this.
if they're not a species, are they? Because I've also heard that they're not mice.
But they also
They're
found them in
not
China.
rats.
What the heck?
Yeah.
What are y'all feeding your snakes?
Yeah, but I feel like that doesn't count if they find them in China because there's so many different things that get in and out of China that are just from in imports and exports of regular goods that they do on ships.
Huh.
Wow.
Okay, yes. He said from shipping and maybe they escaped.
Kayla.
She said again, tea from the top. Oh my god.
No, that was great.
That's great. Glad y'all doing fine.
Who's doing fine?
Hey, who is he talking about? What is he even talking about?
I know, right? Eden, where you at, bro?
Both his friends brought them in their ships.
Everybody's lost on that one. We have to explain the
Yeah.
backstory. Boza got aliens in his damn basement and ain't telling nobody.
Yeah, I believe it. We've seen it.
You seen it?
I seen it with my eyes.
Yes.
Love it.
They're his friends. She had to. I was talking to Casey. Oh.
So how do we? Oh, ASFs aren't rats. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, Christina. What is the genes of the rat?
Oh my god.
That doesn't even make sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. This is true, too. Frozen thaw works for some, but not all. Bree.
What?
Bree's frozen?
You're frozen.
He's frozen, but we can hear her talk.
At least it's a good picture that you're frozen on.
Yeah.
That is a solid picture.
Yeah, you got no boogies, by the way.
And now, not so
What?
much of a good picture.
Your picture, you know, like,
I was
you
on the
like
same shit. I was like, what?
Oh.
Your nose was all like, I was like, you got no boogies, by the way. right? She just looks invested in the conversation, bro. Rose. Oh, Bree is frozen thoughts. Bree, you're frozen thoughts.
That's funny.
Okay, so real quick, let's touch on this.
Did that work?
Yeah, you're good now.
All right.
Frozen thought not working for snakes. I don't. It's tough to even talk on this one because it gets so much pushback. But I feel like there are ways.
There's ways to do it. You have to make sure that you have the right temperature for the rodent and move it around. Make it look like it's alive. Do you know how many people I've seen where they're like, oh, it won't eat. And they're just holding it with the tongue like this, looking at the tank or the tub. I'm like, that's not... Like, even if it's the right temperature, if it's not moving, then it's going to kind of blend in with your body heat.
I just do liar.
Only when it's put in the microwave, Zach. There it is.
That. Brady Jill, I hate you.
I honestly feel like, yeah, there's temperatures and different tactics and things that you could use to switch over to frozen thought if like you really have the intention. I mean, live feeding is what it is. As long as it's not on video, I really don't have a take on it. I don't care.
It's scary though, don't you think? I'm not talking about the recording part, but like even live feeding, because man, it's scary. Because I think about my snake, and I'm always scared that he doesn't latch right to the head, so it doesn't have any issues with it trying to bite away. That's what I freak out of. Like, and it's funny because a buddy of mine, he had a snake, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I just throw it in there and I just lock it up because that's how it's gonna happen." I said, "Bro, ain't you worried about it like biting it?" Like he's like, "No,
Yeah.
it's fine." And I look at the snake. It's got scabs and wounds and everything. I'm like, "Oh hell no!" I'm like, and I when I do, I'm like, I'm constantly looking, like constantly, because I'm like freaked out. I'm so freaked out.
Like that is something like I do half and half, live and frozen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I breed them, and some of them are not okay as pets because they're mean, regardless of how much I try and socialize them. So I'll say I'm aggressive about it, but if you're gonna do live, it needs to be monitored. You cannot just drop that animal into the cage or tank and walk away. That is so irresponsible. Because what happens when, like you were saying, oh, it's fine. Like, okay, but there have been cases where plenty of times that rat or mouse hits that snake in the right spot and it's done.
Yep.
Or it's
back to
eye.
The eye goes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
why would you do that?
Can I add something real quick? Y'all ready for a graphic image? Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
Sure.
Warning, this is an extremely graphic photo, but... Oh, hold on. Let me turn my brightness down. I should have downloaded this. I wish we knew we were going to talk about this. That's the insides of a snake being eaten by a rat. This is what happens when you leave a rat and a snake unattended together. I don't care how traumatizing this may be, but this is a risk that you take. Understand, rats, when they turn on the ball pythons or retigs or boas, they don't really fight back. They just get eaten.
bro. That rat is like too big for that snake.
I don't know about that. I just feel like that rat was destined.
It is now because it's cut in half. But
sorry for the graphic image, but that's really what it takes to end that kind of shit.
But yeah, like sometimes you need to see the worst of the worst in order for people to get it, because there's so many people, like even when I'm feeding and I'm on the phone with somebody, they're like, why are you taking so long on this one animal? And I'm like, because I do not, until that animal is wrapped and is no longer moving, I am there. And I hold it by the tail and make sure that it can't. And like once it's wrapped up more, I'll go and turn the snake so that I can see its mouth, and I'll put the tongs in the thing's mouth so that it can't bite my snake. Like that's how like I am about like I am a helicopter mom about my snakes, and everybody should be like that. because you put so much money into these animals. You need to take care of them and make sure that they're good.
Respect, and let alone it's a nasty scene. Like it's
Yeah.
nobody wants to deal with that. Like it's horrible. I had a first-hand experience with a live feeding gone wrong. The very first coastal carpet python I had came to me with a broken jaw. Thank God she won the fight, but there was obviously a fight between the snake and the rat almost won it because it broke her fucking jaw. And she lived the rest of her life with like half of her face hanging open. It was fucked up, man. And it wasn't repairable. Took her to the vet, did everything we could. You know, it is what it is. She had to live in special care, and there's all kinds of stuff that went into it. But it's the results of not paying attention when your snake's eating. The seller literally told me I let the rat alone with her and came back to this. I was like, dude, bro, come on. So yeah, the repercussions are very, very high when you shut the tub and just let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not fair. It's not, you know, this thing doesn't know. Its instincts are like halfway compared to like what's going on, So
Zach's getting a retic, bro.
Yeah, super dwarf.
Congrats.
That's my man's. Welcome to the club, bro.
So am I.
Yeah, this one too.
Nice.
Yeah, fucking powerhouse out that.
I'm not. Yay.
Yeah.
I went my style of.
I'll send it to you secretly.
Okay, here,
No,
let's talk about something real quick. Let's talk about diets, all right? With snakes in specific and feeding times and regimens. You know, we're talking about a lot of care items tonight. I feel like overfeeding is a huge issue. It's a massive issue. We see obese snakes. There's tons of videos online about the dissections that are done, showing the fat pockets, and how, these animals are unhealthy because we're jamming rats down their throat like there's no tomorrow. What is your guys' take on it? Because mine personally, like, I'll give a quick announcement and a fun one on the Het G-Stripe project. So, fun announcement real quick. We are not the only ones in the project. There's another person in the market with 2 Het G-Stripes. That's fun race. We don't really care. Me and Bill don't care. Beat us to it. It's fine. But the one thing that me and Bill agreed on is not power feeding our animals. We are not going to speed up their feed. We're not going to overgrow them. We're not going to load them up with fat just to win this race. So we're going to slow grow them like a normal retic. We're not going to overfeed. And just like I do with the rest of my animals and Bill does with his, we're in no rush, but we also, keep our regimen strict and we don't go once a week. And we're both random. We feed at random times. There is no set regimen, this day, every 3 weeks on the dot, almost to the hour. So it's all sporadic and different like it would be in the wild. What y'all's take and what y'all's schedule look like?
I actually do have a schedule, but now that you just said that, I think that that would be a really good idea. Because now, like, it's kind of frustrating when I have to go in and do something because I feed on Mondays and the snakes know it. So every Monday, I can't go in there until I feed them. Or they will come out at me and try and get me thinking I have food. Any other day of the week, they're fine. So now that I'm thinking about, like, after you said that, like, if I switched it up all the time, they wouldn't be as aggressive like they are on Mondays. It's like they're all like nut jobs.
They're set to a routine. Christina, depends on the animal. What are we feeding? What are we working with here, etc.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
me personally, I'm with. Yeah.
I like that.
Go ahead.
Switching it up.
Respect. Appreciate I could bring that.
Yeah. For me, thinking about like the snake that I have, it's random. It really is. It's whenever I'm gonna pick up feeders for the dragons, bugs and whatnot. Then I'll pick up my rodent, but it's not like scheduled, I guess you can say. It's not like far in between, don't get me wrong, but it's just, oh, okay, I'm going to get bugs. When's the last time I fed the snake? A week ago? Okay, cool. A week and a half ago? Okay, cool. So far, it's doing really well. I got some feedback on it, and it's growing at the pace it needs to be growing. I don't have a lot of information on the feeding of or feeding habits of the ball, but I always just think about like trying to get that natural instinct to kick in, so it can eat. I had struggle with it in the beginning when I was talking to Chris about it. When I first got it initially, I'm like, "Yo, stop eating." Hasn't eaten almost in a month, right? This was feedback from the person that I rescued it from, and he's all like, "Just." He's like, "What did they feed them?" I'm like, "Frozen thoughts." He's like, "Throw live ones, see what happens." So I did, and I was watching it, and boom, it locked in. So yeah, it was interesting, right, to see that happen. So ever since then, it's been very like sporadic, nothing long term or too long in between, but it's been very sporadic. It's not like every Monday or every Tuesday. It's been like, oh, I'm going out today on Thursday to go get bugs. I'm gonna get a rat. I'm going on Saturday or Friday. I'm gonna go get a rat. You know what I mean?
And that's
Chris.
the one that was burned all over, right? The one that you had, showed me a while back. Just
No. The one that I showed you was a baby. The one I showed you that was burnt was that one didn't make it. Definitely,
okay.
yeah, it
And,
didn't make it. And then I had
okay.
was it a green tree python that was ended up in my rescue? That one didn't make it either. It was too far gone. And then I come to, and it's funny. I like telling the story because I never knew I was this close to death. Um, I handled it, like just grabbed it,
The
not
green tree?
knowing of how big
Oh
how
yeah.
big their fangs were, and how bad they can mess you up. I just went in there and I'm like, "Whoop," and they're like, I'm like, "It's fine with me." He's like, "Put that thing back." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "That thing's gonna destroy you." That thing was so far gone, it didn't want to. It didn't. It just looked at me, and it was just like, "Are you the one that's gonna make me better?" And I was like, "Oh my! I gotta save this thing." Luckily, I put it in the hands of somebody who was able to save, like, at least get it to health, but it was too far gone.
Yeah, let's go backwards real quick because Christina throws. If you can, Christina, break it down in the comments about what you mean per season because that's something I've been wanting to talk to you about is your seasonal feeds because that's fucking dope. She goes per season. This isn't verbatim. The feed changes with what the regimen would be in the wild. It's actually pretty incredible what she's got going over there, and it's something that I think we could all adapt, and something I
Heck yeah.
especially want to add to the colubrids.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I would
That's
agree.
interesting.
Because even like she was saying, like a big thing, a big reason why a lot of people have super obese snakes is one because even though you notice that it's getting really thin, you're still feeding it the same regiment, or you're like, oh, I pushed it back a week, so it'll be fine. Like, yeah, maybe in like a year or two, it's not helping in the next 6 months. Like, if it's fine to push it back like 2 weeks, and then feed, and then do that for a little bit, and then push it back a couple more, like an extra week or an extra 4 days, like until you can get it to that healthy weight, and then manage it from there, so that you're not prolonging the time that it's suffering because it's overweight, and add enrichment. I guarantee you, no matter what kind of snake it is, you throw a log in there or a branch or something like that, it'll climb it. It'll go and check stuff out. It'll like move around more if you add stuff to the enclosures or even the racks. You can figure something out for the racks. If you don't have an idea, message me and I'll figure it out for you. Just give me the measurements for your rack and I'll tell you what you can do. But you have to put that type of stuff in so that they have something to do. If they don't have anything to do, of course, it's the same thing with us. If we don't have anything to do except for sit on our couch, what happens to our bodies? We get massive. What do you think a snake is going to do? Or any other animal? They're going to blow up because all they're doing is sitting there and eating.
Okay, so Christina said, I change what size I feed, what options are offered, and how I offer food based on what the animals would encounter in the wild. It's pretty dope.
That's
dope.
smart though.
It is. It's next level thinking.
Heck yeah.
Oh, my bad.
I started testing that with the female that I got from Wemo. It's like sometimes she'll try and go off food from her normal sized meal, and I'll just go like slightly up or slightly down, and she'll take like that.
Respect. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a lot of people don't realize that like once you go up, like once you're at a certain size, if they get bored of the food and they don't want to eat it, you can go. If you can't go up, then you can definitely go down a little bit and try that. And it's worked every time I've had to do it for the one female.
Okay. Hell yeah. Then J Hill had a fun one he does. And honestly, it's, I feel like that's something we discuss husbandry, but we don't speak about enrichment. And we can get deeper into that, but I feel like ever since we brought on Earl and Earl was talking about the bigger enclosures, the hides, the, more bioactive and, really making these animals thrive. I've been working on it here, like slowly and surely, like jumping everything up, adding hides, adding climbing areas, adding, different things they can, if they're burrowing, they can burrow into the substrate. It's fucking addicting. It's fun, like creating different things for your animals and, setting it up to where it's more closer to the wild. It is truly addicting. If you haven't tried it, try it. And I'm calling the breeders out on this one. Because
I was about to say that.
I don't give a damn how many snakes you got or, it's too many. I'm not saying every animal is a breeder. That's fine. Pick 5 of them and enrich the shit out of their tubs. It's fun. It's addicting. I promise.
What happened?
Yeah.
You might fuck around and do all 200 of them for all you know.
Yeah, I think it's funny you brought that up because I was doing some research as well because, we're really quick to make like bioactive enclosures for like tropical animals, right? Because it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to do. And then especially when you're talking about heat, you don't really have to do like a bulb as powerful as an arid species. So I started to dig, right? And then the bio dude come up, right? He came up and I was just like, let's look into this real quick. And he did this whole segment on his bearded dragon named Hercules. And he did a bioactive in a 75-gallon. And he threw in superworms. He threw in earwigs. He threw in isopods. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, how in the hell are these things going to live in that heat? 1 year later, he's like, I have not had to touch this tank in a year. And I'm like,
damn.
What?
Do you know how he does it?
How does he do it?
He keeps one side humid, which I know, like, people are going to be like, oh, you can't do
scary.
that. It's arid. Like, that's okay. You can say an animal is arid or a desert animal, but they still have rainy season.
Still need water.
They still go to lakes and rivers, and they're by humidity. Like, that is very essential for those arid or desert animals. They need a source of humidity. So as long as you keep a third of that tank humid and the soil is moist, you don't spray the hell out of it. But
here's the thing on what you said, right? Like, it was good all across the board. Like, even on this cool side, right? It was all across. Like, even like you'll see the glass, and you'll see just that wet spot, like all the way across. And I was just like, my mind was blown.
Through the bottom. If you just the one side, it'll transfer all the way across. And the insects, your cleanup crew, they'll siphon that through on their own.
He's like, the only thing that I really had to look at or to do as far as cleanup or spot cleaning was on the branch that he basked on. That's it. His cactus did well. His he calls it elephant feed. He had that in the corner. He had mint in there. He had it hooked up. And he's like, the only reason why he had to go through it that year was because he was getting too big,
Yeah.
way too big. He's like, there's no space for him to kind of maneuver. So he's like, and then that's when cages send him a PVC enclosure. I haven't seen any updates on that yet. I'm really excited to see what that looks like because he did that bioactive. So I don't know, but it's super spiked my interest, and I'm like, yeah, bonus time comes around. Guess who's going bioactive at the rescue? So I want to see what that because it just looks beautiful too. It just looked amazing. The enclosure looked great. And he said in a year that Hercules grew super massive. And I'm like, man, I'm not trying to say like, hey, they got to get fat and big because in the wild they don't, right? They're super skinny in the wild. If you ever looked at a bearded dragon in the wild, it doesn't look like the ones on Instagram. I'll tell you that much. But they're not big in the wild. They really aren't.
No.
The slender, and I think Red Zone did a big topic on that too, on how big bearded dragons get or should be. What people consider healthy. Kind of aligning it to what Levi said about the snakes.
I feel like I'm not trying to start no controversy here, but I am going to pick a side on this one just based on where he's at. Luke over at Lizardmore so beg to differ. And that's an Australian person that in the wild they are bigger. They're bigger than what we have here in America, and that our dragons are underfed.
Longer.
And cared for. Oh,
longer.
They're longer.
Not small.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about longer. I'm talking about wider. They shouldn't be big.
No.
So
Okay, you're right.
I'm talking about like fat belly bearded dragons you see everywhere. It's not healthy.
No, I know what you're talking. Okay, you're right. Like like the.
I'm not saying longer. They are longer. Yeah,
Even
they
like
are bigger.
Grown, like the Barbados, like they're longer. And then the ones in the wild are longer. Their heads are way bigger.
Massive.
But
they're not fat.
They're still healthy in the wild. They're not skinny. Like what we have as pets, they're fat. And then the ones that people call fat are morbidly obese. They're not, like that's not just it's cute and kind of no, that thing is
like chubby.
So you're telling me a retic folding over itself is not okay?
No, it makes me have wrinkles. Like, what are you doing?
I know we ain't bashing people no more, but I'm gonna still be on yo ass, Jay's prehistoric death.
Bro, that thing, like, where's his neck? Honestly, like you can't even see it. It just all you see is a mouth open. Has no neck.
And it's
what?
got
From
Prehistoric
Jay.
death?
Yeah, it's just there's like the snake is missing its neck, like where it should be, but it's
If
just
you mistreat animals on the mainstream, yo ass ain't safe. You still getting blasted and fucking trashed and shit on. And prehistoric death is number one on my list. Goddamn retakes.
you dragons outside. It's a closer sometimes. Yes.
yeah.
It's funny you say that, Gio. Somebody that I was working with down the street or a couple cities over where we live, she has her bearded dragon outside during spring and summertime. And it's the cutest thing I've ever seen. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
I was put on game by Red Zone that I can keep mine outside here in Arizona, and it's like pretty damn close. So I like really want to do it, like do an elaborate setup and shit, dude.
Yeah, you absolutely can in Arizona.
Yeah. In Cali, it's a little harder, right? Because we get dry, but then we also get really cold sometimes. And the humidity is never, ever consistent. So, but no, she said, and it was hilarious because this thing, like, I didn't even know it was out there. It just we were walking towards the back because we are going to pick up some enclosures. And she's like, hey, you want to see my dragon? I'm like, sure. I still keep on walking. And she's standing there like, where are you going? I'm like, well, we're going to see your dragon, right? She's like, no, it's out here. I'm like, what do you mean? And she called it by its name, and it came out. Out of the bushes. It came out, bro. Just kind of like, doo-doo-doo-doo. Like, you ever see a dragon, like, walk with, like, some pep? It was the most cutest thing I've ever seen. And his tail was all up like a little scorpion, and he was looking at me, and I was just like, oh, my. I'm like, you have this outside? And she's like, yeah, like, it lives out here. I mean, when we get those cold snaps, I'll bring it inside, but it's out here. I was like, aren't you worried about, like, spiders and like, infections and, diseases? She's like, no, like, I've had them here for like 5 years. I was like, "You're crazy, this is nuts!" Like, dude, that was my like, "Oh my god!" I'm like in California, no less.
That is pretty
It was
badass.
cool. It was cool, dude. Like, it blew my mind.
Hey, can you tell her to get a video of the lizard coming to her though? Because that'd be badass.
Yeah,
and it would
yeah,
shut a lot of
yeah.
people up.
Yeah, that would be really cool to see it like come out of the bush all excited.
Don't have any intelligence. They got fucking pea brains and they're the T-Rexes. Sorry, I was making fun of people.
Oh man. No, yeah. Let me. Yeah, as soon as I hit her up, I'll send you a vid.
Yeah, we all are nerds.
Yeah, this has actually been a really good live. This has been super entertaining and super knowledgeable. Having Kayla and Christina in the chat's fucking badass too, because both of those keepers are fucking incredible and super smart.
Mike went
We're
from
not
knife
worthy.
to die human.
We're not worthy.
Wayne's World, party time.
You put them in the wild, bro. And they said, fuck you.
Right?
Because you're an alien, Boza. Dogs don't recognize you as a fucking human anymore.
Shit. Yeah.
Wish there was a way to keep snakes outside. That would be badass. Wish they were as cool as lizards.
Right?
But like for
They are
real though,
cool,
like
Levi.
anybody in
They
the
are
snake
cool.
community, tell me like I'm not wrong. Like wouldn't it be badass to be able to put your retic outside and it's close to natural habitat and watch it run around in this giant enclosure that's easy to set up and all fucking luxurious and yeah, I don't know. Something about
Well,
an animal
let's ask
being
that
outside
question.
sounds better.
Well, let's ask that question. So, like, what would it take to get a retic outside?
I don't know, man, because that even if I had the option, I don't think I'd do it because if that retic escaped, like that's a big deal. You know what I mean? That's a fucking 15 to 17 foot animal running around for one.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to worry about it becoming invasive if there's another one on the loose. And it again, you're letting an animal close to its natural habitat go, so it's not healthy either way. I don't know. And snakes are escape artists, man. Lizards are not known to be as well escape-ed, I guess is the word I'm looking for, but they don't escape as well as snakes do.
I'll tell you right now, I don't know how many times I get a call from somebody saying, "Hey, can you come get this iguana from my house? It's in the tree." And I go, and it's not an iguana; it's a chameleon.
Wait, hold on. How did they mistake an iguana for a chameleon?
You don't know that running joke? Everything's an iguana until it gets to iguana and it's a bearded dragon. But for real, like I'll get a call, and it's happened in the last 3 years. I've gotten at least 6 calls saying that there's an iguana, aka a chameleon, in their trees. Lizards escape too, man. You sure as hell do.
They do. It's just because it's a snake, it gets more attention.
That's the thing.
That's why.
If you see an iguana, you're not going to
there's
flip out because you're not going to
I was
flip
going to say
out.
there's a huge difference between a 17-foot snake running around and this tiny little chameleon.
It could be
Or a 7-foot iguana.
And you'd still get more attention with that snake.
I feel like
That's
people
the
don't
thing.
freak out over iguanas though because of Florida. Like,
But
I feel like lizards
don't.
Lizards get this like, oh look, it's a lizard. It's got 4 legs and a tail. How cute! And snakes are like, oh, it's a devil rope. Get rid of it.
Well, dude, you'd be surprised by how many people are utterly terrified by lizards. Just the same as with snakes. But snakes are seen as, like, I don't know. It's like Bobby Boucher's mom. Like, the snakes are the devil. Like, they're awful things, and they represent so many horrible things. Like, no, they don't.
Hey, but think about that. Imagine how much effort it will take y'all to get an outside enclosure for a snake. Like there's things that people like for even if I bring up sulcatas, right? I'll bring up sulcatas. Sulcatas burrow like no other, right? But if you look at some of these sanctuaries like Camp Canyon and things like that, they do things specifically so it doesn't escape. Because even as big as a sulcata is, that thing will escape too.
Oh yeah, that's kind of would break that shit down.
Yeah.
No, sulcatas escape all the fucking time. They're shit. They make snakes look,
There you go. Yeah, I mean, but think about it. So Man, that wouldn't that be interesting though? Like, think about it. Be the first keeper to actually keep an outside enclosure for a snake that is successful. Test it with one. You don't have to do it all your snakes.
Yeah, I'm in Arizona. I can't do with it. Well, I get there. I have a couple of species I would be able to if I really, really put
I'm
my
just
mind
saying,
to it.
man.
But again, those are smaller
I'm
animals,
just
so
saying.
it's going to become even more difficult. Like if I could stick my big ass Retic in a big ass enclosure outside, I definitely would.
Why not use chicken
I
wire?
don't know.
You could get a shed.
Bro, chicken wire ain't going to stop a Retic. I'll tell you that right now. They rip that right off the wood.
But you know,
You'd have to like
No,
quadruple
get with
reinforce.
those. Get those. It's not even chicken wire. It's they use it for like screen doors, the metal frame doors that you put on your door.
that mesh isn't really that good. He'd be better off with like thick acrylic or something like that.
Yeah, I beg to
I don't
differ
know.
on that one, man. Not often will I argue with you, but I don't
But like
feel like they,
wire or something.
even that.
Like if you got like inch thick acrylic, is it gonna bust through that if you know how to put the shit together?
I don't
I just
see
think of it
that.
like this. Look, I think of it like this. If a zoo's doing it in a building, ask the question of how often does it escape? You feel me? So whatever is being built in a building,
Thank
modify it to where it's a little bit more efficient outdoor. Why wouldn't you? I'm just picking
Because
on snake people because y'all need to push the limit with these tubs, right? Like tubs and things, because you can really put your mind to it. You really can make an awesome enclosure.
no, you can definitely
Like
make an awesome enclosure.
think about how much effort is put into tub making and tub racks. Why not try to put that much effort into an outdoor enclosure?
Or let me challenge you to that thought process, right? Let's say a tub is an efficient sized tub. Why not just
It
deck
is.
the fucking tub out?
That's what I do. You can.
That you can. There's no problem with that. What I'm saying is that we're talking about outside enclosures.
Yeah. So like
Hold on, time out. Hold on. Let me shut this down because this is not towards you, Abby, but I know where this is gonna go eventually. I am not keeping Retics outside. It is way too fucking hot. It's not happening.
it's
I will
just
roast my
a
snakes.
hypothetical conversation.
No, not and to Christina, no, I'm not. I'm just saying, how much fun would you have to make an outdoor enclosure, and make it a fun thing? It doesn't have to be all your snakes. Now, this may be for more of a keeper's sake, because a keeper is not going to have thousands of snakes in their collection, because as breeders will have tubs and tubs and tubs, right? But if we're talking about somebody who's just enjoying their animal, right? Because we're not talking just to the keepers, breeders here, or the rescues. We're talking about people who enjoy keeping reptiles. All you do is have to have one snake. Imagine how much more fun it would be to have that enclosure set and built for that snake outside. Now, again, if you're in colder climates, please be responsible. And those of you in arid, just this is a disclaimer, but it's just thought, right? It's one of those things to have fun with. Not to say that tubs aren't good. Tubs are good. So are whatever other enclosure you like, as long as you know what you're doing.
Hashtag grow
I'm just
tent.
talking about how, hashtag there, grow tents, right? I'm just talking about how fun and innovative can we get with this?
Yeah.
This would be cool. It'd be really cool. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, how much money I want to invest in putting out my dragons, because it'd be really neat to have them outside. It does get hot enough for them to be out there, here in Cali. So I'm really interested in how, like, you make it like a little dragon land, right? You can have like your enclosures and whatnot, basking spots, cool sides, things like that. But I don't know, man, it would be so cool to think about, right? Just to see, hey, come check out my snake, and we're thinking we're going into a room, we're actually going outside and you see it hanging there, or I don't know. I just think it's dope. I think it'd be a cool idea.
Bro, but
No.
I have seen people do that with retics, though, build snake enclosures outside, or, well, not outside. I guess they're in a little barn, but the barn's like outside kind of deal.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like I've seen them do it with big sheds.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that, there's so many, like I've literally, there's almost every option, I feel like, I've tried. I have glass. I have bins or totes. I have fucking shoe boxes. That's what those are for anybody who's wondering. They're shoe boxes for my babies. You convert them. I can show you how to do it. Or I just make them for people to buy, and they got all the stuff that I use already in it. And I have like the glass tanks, the Exoterras, I have the rack, I have the PVC, I have grow tents. Try it all out if you want to. It's personal preference. And
Hashtag grow tens.
yeah, like people can say whatever they want to, but let's talk about like bringing up how resilient these animals are. They don't care. I mean, for the most part, as long as they have what they need and they have enrichment, they don't care. They don't have a preference. That's you. So if you want to test something out, just because somebody says, oh, well, nobody does it that way. Well, let's test it out. As long as you know your stuff. Do your research on your animals first before you start playing around with stuff and understand that specific animal. But then, yeah, as long as you know your animal and you've done all of your research or as much as you can and you feel like you have the best grasp on it, then why not test out new things? You know, like if you're in an area, like not everybody can be outside. But if you can and you're in an area where you can year-round have animals outside, try it out. See if it works. But don't leave them in there until it's like too late, you know? Like try it out for a month or two. Check how everything is every day.
Think about what you said. Think about what you said, right? You're like, that's a shoebox, right? Somebody tested that out. Somebody figured it out. I mean, a little simpler, right, in the concept of humidity and whatnot, but somebody had to test it out. How hot do these things get? You know, even with snakes. Somebody had to test out what type of plastic we had to use or what type of tub we had to use in order for us to not overheat or melt the plastic.
Yeah. Same with the PVC.
So there's that step, that melamine PVC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And I mean, even if you think about it, like 20, 30 years ago when people used to have reptiles, the big ones like retics and everything like that, they didn't have PVC. They didn't have melamine enclosures. These fuckers had whole rooms. They would just dedicate a room to one snake. And they were just testing it out, seeing if it worked. And they weren't decorating it like it was like the whole room was designed like they were out in the wild. It was just a bedroom with a giant snake in it. There's so many different advances, and we haven't even scratched the surface of knowing. I don't care how long you've been doing it, how much research you have. You don't know everything. We do not know everything.
Shout out to Jay at Reptilife, right? He went to go buy his new enclosures for his scorpions. And if you know, you know where he got it from. Look at Levi. He's like, yeah, I work there, Levi. That's right. But yeah, like that's an interesting
Walmart
thought, right?
can sell gold blocks. They still ain't gonna get my damn support.
It's okay, man. But if I see that shoe casing in one of your enclosures, I'm gonna blow it up. I'm gonna even tag Walmart in it.
Bro, you will never catch my ass buying an enclosure from Walmart.
Hey, little does you know, I'm sending them something from Walmart.
Hey, you know what? The fire pit's out bad, bro. Hopefully it's environmentally safe.
No, don't do it because it'll probably release a chemical. No, but just think about that. Like, just some of those fun things. Look at that. That's so dope.
So
that is dope.
Normally I put more plants in, but this, okay. So when I talk about proper husbandry for a baby, look at that. They have shit to hide in. They have stuff to climb on. I swear to God, every time I see somebody put one fucking plant in here and a little freaking paper towel roll, and that's it, I want to punch them in the head. That is not enrichment.
I love it, Bree.
Make your baby feel comfortable.
She's like, I want to punch him in the head.
I do. It makes me want to punch him in the throat. I don't care who it is. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how much you support the community. When you do stuff like that, I want to punch you in the throat. Because that does.
That's right. That's passion right there.
Bree hit the 10 out of 10.
My camera.
I feel bad for her.
Because, dude, it gets me
Just
so heated. Like, you can't tell me. There's so many people who are like making videos. Let's make a video on how to properly set up your baby crested gecko. And it looks like shit. You got one bowl of food, no water, one paper towel roll, and a cut piece of a branch. Or not a branch, sorry. A cut piece of a freaking flower that you bought from the dollar store. You can buy stuff from the dollar store. That is not what I'm saying. You can put paper towel rolls in, but fill that fucking up.
Right? If you got shitty husbandry, understand, Bree gonna punch you in the fucking head.
In the head, bro. In the head. Not in the throat, not in the stomach, in the head.
Knock the fuck out today, boy.
It's like, dude, it is. I feel like I'm kind of embarrassed now, but like the husbandry aspect.
Don't be embarrassed. Punch people in the head. It's what we need.
No, I don't. We probably don't need that, but I don't have.
Have you not seen this damn? Some people need to be punched in the damn head. But anyway, you're right. We ain't going there.
I agree.
We ain't gonna punch nobody in the head.
And a lot of people just call it.
I'll punch him in the head for you
nowadays.
Metaphorically.
All right, we're gonna start a new hashtag. Hashtag catch Bree's hands.
No, we gotta make sure it has to be hashtag punch him in the head.
Hashtag punch in the head. See, me and Chris are thinking already.
All right. So Chris got to work. I don't want to lose too many people that want to come back and rewatch this because this is one of the most informative lives I think we've done to date. So let's hit it with a wrap-up question. I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to hit the wrap-up question this time.
Ooh.
And it's going to be completely off topic because we've already had enough informative. Let's do something a little bit fun here. What is one reptile, doesn't matter species, doesn't matter laws, doesn't matter anything. If you could add it to your collection right now, what would it be and why?
Where you go first?
No, I don't know. I'm trying to think. That's tough because there's some that like I want, but there's no regular. So it's really difficult because there's a lot of things on my wish list, and one specifically that we were talking about earlier, and like, but then when you say like excluding laws and stuff like that on them, like
I can't ask a simple question. It's got to be loaded.
Well, can
All right,
I
I got mine.
too?
Yeah, go, Bray. Do your two.
Okay. I want a lady, which that one, I want like I'm gonna scream when I finally can get one because I want one so bad. But
You broke up. Say it one more time. What was it?
a lychee.
Dirty socks.
Yeah.
Man, those things get huge, though.
You gotta say it. You gotta tell the dirty socks.
Oh, okay. So one day, this is my formative years, okay? Just so we're clear. I wanted to say this to Tiki to get his reaction, but so it was went to the pet shop. He's like, hey, take a look, blah, blah, blah. So I look in the tank and I'm like, hey, bro. I'm like, hey, somebody put a nasty, dirty sock in your tank right here. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, like, I'm like, look, it's like green and, oh, bro, it's nasty. And he's like, what are you talking about? And it was the lychee. I've never seen a lychee. I'm pretty sure Levi's looking what a lychee is. But yeah, it looks like a dirty sock.
I'm telling Bree, they get big, though.
I know. I want one.
That's a lot of shit to clean off for you, Bree.
They actually, that is the thing. They are known for like shitting on people.
Yeah, no, that's what I said.
Yeah.
And it's not just a little bit. It's a lot.
It's like a fucking big snake. Like It's a lot.
Look at the comments. Everybody's answering that. What the hell?
Yeah, they're like throwing in there. Bosa wants a Loch Ness.
How do you know it's a reptile?
What if it's a fish?
What if
Oh
it's a
my
mammal?
God.
Mutated shark, Boza? Hold on.
What if it was an extinct mammal?
If all the people that actually know what the Loch Ness monster is, it's Boza. He got aliens in the basement. So
So white throat
All right,
monitor.
what's your second one, Bree?
Well, if we're just looking at like lizards or reptiles.
hold on.
Lizards or snakes?
Let me interrupt for just a second. Pennywise, you don't want a deep throat monitor, bro? Come on.
You don't want a Chucky?
If y'all missed that live, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bree.
If it's just reptiles in general, then it would be a Komodo.
Penny hit that.
Big. I know, like a
Penny
lot
hit
of
the
people
Komodo.
said Komodo if you were looking.
Yeah.
And it is. Like, yeah, they're massive and they're just really cool, like apex predators.
Yeah, for real, man. Those are like the dinosaurs of our time right now,
Yeah.
for sure.
Alright,
For
Jeff,
me,
what's
I agree with Penny. I mean, this is kind of like I'm a millionaire, multi-billion trillionaire, and I got an own island. I would want a marine iguana, for
They
sure.
are really cool.
Yeah, and then of course, if we were talking about realistically, a selfin dragon.
Ah, okay.
They're pretty.
Yeah.
Respect.
There's nothing that is more prehistoric than, well, as far as something you could keep is a selfin. Those things are beautiful, man. I see them I think like they're gonna fly away. Like no joke. If y'all ever seen a selfin, things are beautiful.
Oh,
See if you
thank
guys
you,
can
sir.
see this.
I know I'm beautiful. Thank you.
Shut up.
Oh, that's like a dinosaur.
I love them.
For
They
real,
are
look at that.
What the heck is that?
My dream animal. Oh my god.
Yeah. Selfins
For
are
real.
as safer as it gets. Max says. That's Big Mac.
And I would have just this massive enclosure for it. I could walk inside. Just that would be my dream.
That would be really cool. I would just be worried about like space. For like
No,
a
like,
real
still,
big
like,
animal.
You'd be like, "Hey kids, I know I promised that you will have your own room." But yeah, no, it's going to be the selfin dragon.
In the words of Chucky or Deep Throat Monitor, #FTK. All right, y'all. Been a fun live. That was an awesome answer to end an awesome, phenomenal live. Damn, yeah, we flipped this thing around, and for our guest not being able to make it, this was one of the best, if not the best, we've done so far.
I agree. Thank you, Bree, coming on again.
Good job, Bree.
Thank you.
Right.
Much respect. Chris, you got anything?
I'm sexy. No, I'm joking. I don't got nothing.
But Chris goes to the salon. No, for his beard.
Yeah, for my beard. To get trimmed.
No,
Look at
he's got to get the sides cleaned up.
Yeah, I do.
You gotta get the Homer going. You gotta fix the Homer.
Whatever, just goddamn.
No.
Shout out to sponsors one more time. That's all I gotta say. We gotta shout out to sponsors. We got CNB Reptile sponsoring this live. Reptile Crew. They have awesome merch. And our partner, Mi Familia. Our family. They know who they are.
Which these two are a part of.
Yes, which these two are a part of. The family. They know we love them. We love them.
Respect.
Quick shout out to all my SoCals that jumped in. Sorry, I had to throw that in. SoCal, thank you so much for jumping in. We appreciate it. And don't forget to see us in Whittier February 18th, we're gonna do an educational show at the Whittier Narrows Community Center. So, Nature Center, excuse me.
Yep. If you don't follow Jess, you don't follow Bree, go follow him on Instagram, give him a what up. This has been one of the most entertaining educational lives to date. So both these folks are great keepers, very knowledgeable. Reach out, send them a DM if you got questions. And shout out to Bree for them damn cards, because that was one of the best things ever brought to life.
I didn't realize that people don't know about them until you guys go, the chat was going crazy, and I was like, oh shit, that's not a thing that people know about. So that's why I ran to grab a card.
Do you realize I'm gonna start sending those every time I adopt out? I'm gonna use those now.
Yeah, hand them out. All that, because that's even people who are I'm not ready for one yet. I don't know what to do. I'm like,
Here you go.
Here, message me if you have any further questions.
Message her, guys.
Yeah. It's seriously, I have a lot going on, so sometimes it does take me a little bit, and I do warn people of that to respond, but I always respond.
All right. Anything else, Levi?
Nope. That's it. I'll put it in the chat one more time. Anybody that wants to know about the creature cards, Bree should hit them up for a sponsorship. We out.
Okay.
We'll take that comment off.
Bye, everybody.
No, we leaving it up, bro. It's a highlight. End this damn thing.
All right.
You got to
All right. And go check out Reptiles Crew. They just dropped some hot merch going down. Go check it out. Other than that, y'all have a good night. Love you guys.
Good night.
Thank you.